What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a Monday morning edition of the Daily Juice Podcast with me, Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Sports Talk Matt. Follow BettingPros at BettingPros. The BetMGM offer, you guys have to know it by now. $10 bet, $150 into your account. Promo code Juice150 for new accounts at BetMGM. All right, little accounting. A 1-2 night last night, so a losing night last night. Got the Mets right, other two wrong. I mean, man, over 8.5 in the Rays game. The Rays score 6, Twins scored nothing. That's always frustrating when you're on an over. Bummer. The Dodgers get swept by the Giants. Man, goodness gracious, Dodgers. Yikes. I like the Giants more than you, and I bet on the Dodgers. That kind of ticked me off, but the Giants won, narrowing and cutting into that lead big time. 6 games in the loss column, got cut in half with a 3-game sweep for the Giants. So 1-2, that takes our 9-day total to 16-11. Up 1.7 units, so not great, better than losing, but the plus 600 parlay from Friday, if you bet that, then we are way over that, and we are way over if you bet 1 unit, which you probably shouldn't do on that parlay, but if you did, you'd be up 7.7 units, so that's a nice way to have a good week. So let's have another good week here as we started off on a Monday. We've got a hockey bet for the series for the Stanley Cup, which gets going on Wednesday. And then we've got 3 bets going for Game 5 tonight for the NBA Finals. You probably know where I'm going to go on these for that bet, but we'll get to it here in just 1 second. Let me tell you about our friends at Sleeper. They're back once again. If you guys haven't heard this before, Sleeper, the fastest growing fantasy platform, millions of players, game-changing product. They've got this over-under game now, super simple. You go in there, you bet on props. You go ahead and pick, if you pick correctly, you can win anywhere from 2 times to 20 times the money that you put in. Very cool built-in group chat button. Download Sleeper right now for the new over-under game. Have fun with your friends and make some money. On your mobile phone, go to the listener group on Sleeper at sleeper.com/dailyjuice, and Sleeper will automatically match your first deposit of up to $100. Again, go to sleeper.com/dailyjuice, and you'll get a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms for use details. Okay, so let's go to hockey first. And game 1 happening on Wednesday for the Stanley Cup. We get the matchup we want. Colorado against Tampa. Tampa is the 2-time defending champ. And we get plus money. Not just plus money. We get plus 160 on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Andre Vasilevsky is better than whomever they want to put in net, whether it be Francois, whatever, however you say the dude's last name, or if it's going to be Darcy Kemper. Colorado's got goaltending issues. Tampa, defensively, is better than Colorado. Tampa is a 2-time defending champ. This is kind of a principle bet. And Dave Sharapan, my co-host on my other show, likes to call it a general principle play. The general principle play here is take the plus money when you have the 2-time defending champs in Tampa Bay. Colorado has not proven that they can win these types of series, although they are in the Cup Finals finally. And Nathan McKinnon's going to be a really big problem. And it's going to be an unbelievable series. I know everyone's saying overs. I'm going the other way. I'm seeing unders. I think this is going to be, I think the books might juice some numbers to 6 or 6.5. We can come in and take the under on these games. I don't see massive shootouts given the ability these teams have to defensively lock down, in particular Tampa and Andre Vasilevsky. Better goaltender. I'm taking the 2-time defending Cup champs at plus 160, 1 unit. Tampa to win their 3rd consecutive Stanley Cup. Will play off of this as the series goes, but at plus 160, we should have jumped on it in the Rangers series when they were down 2-0. We should have jumped on it. It was plus 750 at one point. Didn't have the guts. I'm not going to let this pass me by now. Plus 160, 1 unit, Tampa Bay to win the Stanley Cup. 1 unit play, first bet for the podcast here today. All right, Game 5, NBA Finals. Celtics on the road at the Golden State Warriors. Let's do this exercise again. Boston after a loss in the playoffs. They swept Brooklyn against Milwaukee. First game, lost by 12. Next game, won by 23. Next game, lost by 2. Next game, won by 8. Next game, lost by 3. Next game, won by 13. They beat Milwaukee. Then they lost to Miami in game 1. They won the next game, lost by 11. Next game, won by 25. Lost next game by 6, won the next game by 20. They beat Miami again. Then they lost to Miami by 8, won the next game by 4. They beat Golden State in game 1 by 12. Next game, they lost by 19. They won the next game by 16. Last game, they lost by 10. What happens now? The Boston Celtics bounce back and win. That's what happens. Don't bother betting the point spread, okay? Don't take Boston plus the points. If you're going to bet the Golden State Warriors, lay the points, okay? It doesn't matter. If it's under 6 points, which this is, under 6 points, you bet the team that's favored to win, or you bet the dog to win outright. It's the only way to play it. I think we're up to 65-0-1 now over when the point spread over the last, I think it's 10 years, with the point spread being 6 or less in the NBA Finals. Either the dog wins outright or the team that's favored wins and covers. So either Golden State wins this game by 7, 8, 9 points, or Boston wins outright. I'm taking the Boston Celtics. I'm taking the plus 140. Same thing we bet last game, half a unit on the Warriors to win at plus 145. Same thing, half a unit on the Boston Celtics at plus 140 to win this game outright. Now, I will be betting this game in-game, okay? I did a really good job in the last game. I went 4-1 in the last game. I had Boston in the first quarter. I had Boston in the second quarter. I had Golden State in the third quarter, and I had Boston in the fourth quarter. Boston in the fourth quarter, I got that wrong, but I had Golden State to win the game, okay? Golden State to win the third quarter, everyone and their mom is going to bet it. It's just an easy layup of a bet. However, Boston to win the first quarter, probably going to make that play, okay? Like that. Boston, if Boston loses the first quarter, betting Boston to win the second quarter, big, due to the rotation that Steve Kerr has with Steph Curry. Steph doesn't play all that much in the second quarter, plays about 6 minutes in the second quarter, so Boston can take advantage of that. So if the Warriors win the first quarter, I'm betting Boston to win the second quarter. So I probably will bet Boston first quarter. If that cashes, I'll be on Boston second quarter. Just depends. Boston money line first quarter, probably a good bet. Laying the spread for Boston in the second quarter is what I did in game 4. Probably do that again. Then you come back with the Warriors in the third quarter, and then you see how the game's going, whether you want to bet on the Warriors or the Celtics in the fourth quarter. Just the way I'm playing it, how I played game 4, how I'm going to play game 5. So it's pre-flop Celtics money line, in-game, heavily active, betting a lot of things. I'm making more money in-game on this series than I am pre-game, just because of how the game flow is going and by watching the numbers and how the books are putting it up in-game. So if you aren't betting in-game, you're missing out on big opportunities to capitalize and to win in these games, in this series for Boston and the Golden State Warriors. All right? Half a unit, plus 140, Boston money line, the official play. 2 player props. Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart had a horrible shooting game against the Heat. 1 for 9 for 3, 4 of 15 for the game, and he went 0 for 5 down the stretch for Boston, and they lost the game to the Miami Heat. Game 6. Same thing happened in game 4. Marcus Smart was 3 of 9. He scored 18 points, but missed a bunch of shots late. Had 4 steals, 5 assists, and 4 rebounds, but 3 of 9 from behind the arc, but he was ice cold in the fourth quarter, and they let him shoot. Marcus Smart, after that horrible game up against the Miami Heat, scored 14 points, bounced back and scored 24 points. In game 2, where Boston lost, Marcus Smart scored 2 points. He bounced back and scored 24 points in the win in game 3 for Boston. Against the Warriors, 8 points in 40 minutes that he played in game 4, but he didn't play a great game. I expect Marcus Smart to get into the 20s here in this game. His point total is 14.5 at minus 120. It's too low. In this series, 18-2, 24-18. 3 of the 4 games, Marcus Smart has gone over this with 14.5 points at minus 120. Quarter unit, Marcus Smart over 14.5 points at minus 120. And we're going to FanDuel for Robert Williams. Everyone else is at 7.5. FanDuel is currently at 6.5, juiced over minus 134. It's juicy. I'm going to lay the juice here in order to get ourselves into a place where Robert Williams to make a quarter unit back. So you basically have to bet 0.33 units to get back here to get back a quarter unit. Okay. So we're going to pay the juice on Robert Williams at over 6.5 because everybody else is at 7.5. So FanDuel has been slow to adjust this. I think it probably will close maybe 7.5 or maybe 8. Robert Williams so far in this series, 8, 2, 8, and 7 points scored. So he's either going to have 6, 7, or 8 points coming up here tonight. Doesn't get to the free throw line all that often, which is tough, but 4 for 4 in game 1, 1 for 1 in game 2, 4 for 5 in game 3, 3 for 3 in game number 4. Lobs, he had 12 rebounds in that game, 10 rebounds, but putbacks. I think Robert Williams is going to be very active here. I'm going over 6.5 points for Robert Williams at minus 134, but I am going to lay the 0.33 units to get the quarter unit back. So we'll be a little more committed to Robert Williams monetarily to go over 6.5 points because we have a market adjustment that FanDuel's been a little bit slow to jump on. So pay the juice. Let's get to 0.25 to win the quarter unit, but the 0.33 lay it in order to get there. All right. So I'm going heavily on Boston, okay? I'm going heavy on the Celtics, and this has paid off very well. I'm 5-0 here. I'm following the trend. We've made a lot of money here in the postseason betting on Boston. They don't make mistakes in back-to-back games. When they don't turn the ball over, Boston's the better basketball team. When they turn the ball over, they get beat by Steph in transition. They get beat by Klay Thompson in transition. The crowd will be a factor. Absolutely. Boston's going to have to get off to a good start. Jason Tatum and company, they play better on the road. They relax. For whatever reason, they play better on the road. I expect that to continue here tonight. Boston to bounce back again after a loss, to win a game outright after losing the previous game. Boston money line plus 140. Over Marcus Smart, 14.5 points. Over Robert Williams, over 6.5 points. And the Tampa Bay Lightning to win the cup, 1 unit at plus 160 for the cup that begins on Wednesday here. We'll have a bet on game 1, but that's your play on a Monday for the Stanley Cup Finals. My name is Matt Perrault. Follow me on Twitter at SportsTalkMatt each and every morning. It's the Daily Juice Podcast. Always being brought to you by BetMGM.